So let's get specific about the rivals because we have some looks at them already. And I will note, depending on when you're watching this, stay tuned because more could come out by the time the book rolls out on March 15th, when Critical Role Call of the Netherdeep is officially out and we can all start jumping into it at our tables. But we already have some looks at these rival NPCs, starting with Ayojabe, who is described as a bold leader for the party. And then we have Dermot Werder, who is going to be an interesting and I would say heart winning little Luxon cleric. And then Irvin Wastewalker, who is a mysterious figure, but seems to be sort of a needs a shave, maybe needs a bath. I don't want to be judgmental based on the picture, but I'm already being very intrigued, and I want to know more about what's going on with Irvin Wastewalker. Out of those that we've already had a look at so far, Aliza, do you have a favorite?
Um, I in terms of total package, I would say Ayo Jabi. First of all, the art is really dope. I wanna cosplay this character, like, she's just, like, has a really cool look. And, I love that she has some magic skills, but, like, they say she's mostly a weapon user. She has, like, a harpoon and her longbow. She just seems like a really badass character, so that is someone who I would be excited to meet in this adventure. But actually, the one who has my heart is Dermot Werder. It's just, like, really cute little goblin cleric, like, tank healer. He just looks really precious, and, like, I want him in my party. I want him to have my back in battle. He's so cute.
I strongly biased you all, but it's also just like look at the face.
I mean,
That's
look at the fish.
amazing art on these. Michael, do you have a favorite?
My favorite is definitely Dermot Order. Just that artwork tells me he looks sheepish, he looks uncertain of himself. He looks like the type of like new sort of adventurer that you would play who's just kind of like, I was on a farm 3 days ago and now I'm in heavy armor and I don't know if I can do this. Uh, and also, I love the fact that we have the Luxon symbol on a necklace for him. So he's a cleric of the Luxon, which has a lot of implications. I mean, that already tells me he has very strong ties to the dynasty, that he follows the dynasty, but maybe not. I don't know. There's just this, the image alone gives me a lot of thoughts about how I, as a DM, might take this rival and shape them.
I love that very much. And as we can see, of the ones we've glimpsed so far, if we take another look at the cover of Critical Role Call of the Netherdeep, you can start to suggest that there may be some more interesting folks come and another look at some of these characters. And of course, if you've been online or know a lot of critters, you know that Ayojabe has been a popular subject of curiosity to know more about. But I am loving what we are learning about her, which is not necessarily what a lot of folks maybe it's uh, suggested at first. But I have no official comments on that. That's just me being on Twitter and hanging out and getting excited about things. Um, so I am very fascinated by this. I love that they specified this is the tier one stat block. They are going to grow and change with us. We are going to meet some more of this party. Now, mechanically, Michael, anything jump out at you from the stat blocks that we have for the quick looks at Io and Dermot?
Yeah, so starting with Io, the what really stood out to me was the sort of flexibility you have to shape her battle tactics for whatever you feel niche she needs to fill, right? Because she's just as effective with in close combat with her harpoon as she is with her longbow. So if you're the kind of DM who believes, all right, Io's been described as a leader, therefore she should be on the front lines attacking with harpoon, then you can absolutely do that. However, if you're like me who believes like if the leader is the most important part of the group, because if everyone else dies, then the party lives on through the leader. That's just me. Uh, I would have her standing in the back with her longbow, uh, giving orders to party members. But you also get this sort of opportunity to role play with her through a limited a couple spells that she's given through animal friendship and goodberry. These two, animal friendship already can be used to perhaps befriend your party's animal companion, or you could have a really touching moment where you first meet Io as she's casting animal friendship on a bird and kind of like having a moment, like petting a bird and just being like, I will protect you. And then that sets off like, her character. You also have Goodberry, which is a fantastic healing spell. Um, and notably, she can pass out those berries, right? So if she is on good terms with the party, then she could give the party members maybe a good berry or two as they cross paths on the open road, and it just says like, "Here, I know it won't last long. I know it doesn't do much, but I just want to show my support for what you're doing, and I hope that whatever it is we're working toward, that we can accomplish this." I
I
think.
love that. Aliza, yeah?
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm Aliza, did you have anything that jumped out at you from the sort of stat blocks from that we've seen so far? Or
Yeah, I I feel like, Michael covered Io really well. I think everything he said, I totally agree with about Io. So, when it comes to Dermot, um, he's I mean, let's see. I'm taking a look again. Yeah, I think similarly, this character is built to be has the potential to really help out your party if you befriend him, and also could, make things interesting if you don't befriend his party. I think what you were saying before, Michael, about or maybe it was you, Amy, who said, like, the look on his face is kind of this sheepish, almost sweet, like, unsure of himself, but I was on a farm 3 days ago, now I'm in armor look. That could that could be really helpful or it could be really dangerous for a party if you don't get on the good side of that person. And so I think the stat block also reflects that. He definitely has a lot of really good healing and buffing. So, that's someone who you definitely would want on your side.
absolutely, and I think that Searing Wrath, is gonna be particularly
Mm,
interesting to watch play out, because it has the effect of blinding your foes, which is a fun
Mhm.
thing to play with, in terms of
Yeah.
combat tactics. Um,
yeah, I
so
think adding to that, Searing Wrath isn't a spell. You know, uh, Dermot isn't casting, some range spell, like he's not casting like Toll the Dead, which can be countered. This is simply a ranged spell attack, but he's not casting something. So, um, I think that's important to note because the effect is really strong if it hits. He doesn't have. See, I when I first saw that he was a cleric, I thought, oh, he'll have the iconic like guiding bolt, which if you hit your target, it grants advantage on the next attack made against that creature. But instead, he has Searing Wrath, which is stronger in some ways because the target is blinded. So everyone has advantage against that blinded target, until that effect ends on I believe it's the end of their next turn. So I think that's an important thing to note for DMs is how Dermot is kind of can be really strong. But then if you look at the spell list that he's given, it's very like defensive, very like party
Mm.
healer. So again, you get that choice of like being a potent sort of attacker or being like standing in the back lines and kind of taking your time like, I'm going to cast bless and I'm going to run between party members casting cure wounds.
And of course, as a DM, you will get to make choices about how your versions of these characters are going to behave in game and how they're going to grow and change and be affected by the actual main characters of your game, who are your party. And I can't wait to hear folks' stories as they play through this campaign about how it went with their team of rivals, whether they ended up racing to answer the call, becoming best friends, or it all went horribly wrong very quickly. I expect all of those outcomes in the mix, and I can't wait to hear about it when that book comes out on March 15th.
It's D&D.